Hi, my name is Axel, and I'm starting a carbon farm business. I'm thinking of documenting it through the means of YouTube, blogging. Although writing stuff down it takes a lot longer to write something meaningful, rather than just a social media update or something. It takes a long time. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do a what did we used to call them back in the days? Vlogs, a vlog. So this is my first one, and I'm currently writing the business plan. And if you haven't seen it already, I've got cat hair in my mouth. That's what happens when you kiss your cat. I've got it. Sorry. So I'm writing my business plan, and I'm looking at crops, and I haven't looked already what this carbon farm is all about. It's about sequestering as much CO2 from the atmosphere as possible. Ultimately, be absolutely amazing if I could, not harvest. If I could extract all of the CO2 that city that I live in, Milton Keynes, in the UK, is producing. And that's a bit of a pipe dream because I've nowhere near enough money to buy enough land, and let's start small. I'm an IT project manager. I'm not really a farmer by any stretch of the imagination, although I do hydroponics and I do a fair bit of gardening and everything else. And I kind of half grew up on a farm, but I'm not a farmer. So long story short, I'm looking for crops that make for a sustainable business, because that's the key of it. You got to be sustainable, and you're not going to be able to buy a couple of acres here and grow something on them, and then just expect to break even or something. So I need something that sequesters as much CO2 out of the atmosphere and locks it up in the soil, and is regenerated easily enough, grows fast, and produces something. In this climate in the UK, it's very wet. Looking out there, it's wet and is not particularly sunny or warm. So you got to have a crop that is, thriving in these conditions, especially with the weather, the general climate changing somewhat. I want something that is, I can get into and I can grow as a monoculture. Really, I don't want to have this over there and that over there. I'm just me. Unless you fancy joining me, of course, please do get in touch. It needs to be manageable. I need to grow this as a single individual, whilst balancing my day job, and then make enough money to buy more crop, buy more land, buy machines, find people to help me work the land, and get out of the day job. And that's going to be, well, that's going to be quite enough. So I'm giving myself about 3 years. And the crops I was looking at is bamboo, and bamboo turns out to use a lot of water. I was thinking, hey, we're in the UK, looking out the window, it's extremely wet. So it's just not wet enough at the times when you need it to be wet to grow bamboo. And the second ingredient, which is funny, is sunshine. And if you've ever been to the UK, it's not particularly known for its sunny days. In fact, I would argue that a lot of the time it's just grey. It's grey and wet and windy. So come and visit. It's great. Joking aside, bamboo might not be the perfect crop for this environment. So I was looking at other things, and I found something called, I think it's called Margaret Farm. I'll put the link in the description below. Margent Farm, which is up in Cambridgeshire, and I wanted to go and visit these guys, but they haven't got an open day until October, so that's coming soon. And they started a Hamp Farm. I don't know much about them. I'm looking at the website, and they've got 50 acres, which is like, many times, 50 times. I'm looking at an acre or two. That's what I think I can manage to start with. They've got 50. They're a big company. They've got an architectural practice. I think they bought an old farm. And they are actually making stuff themselves. They make fiber products and oil products. They make panels and stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff that I want. I want to suck the carbon out of the air, put it into a renewable material like hemp, which, funnily enough, we used to have a big hemp industry. In fact, back in the days before the British Empire, you had to grow hemp. You had to have like a quarter of an acre or something and grow it, and you can pay taxes with it. And that's kind of what the British Navy was made up of. You know, hemp is a super versatile material and is fast growing and absorbs a lot of CO2, like 20 tons. So it's equivalent from that point of view to perhaps bamboo. And they're like the fastest growing, easy to grow kind of crops for this climate, or at least hemp is. So nothing really comes close to hemp. So I'm thinking hemp. And I'm thinking, I heard horror stories. There's a lot of regulation. A lot of people go like, ooh, hemp, your pothead or something. It's like, no, actually, sadly, in the UK, we have to throw away the juiciest bit of the crop. You know, you grow this crop and you're thinking, wow, this is so versatile. You can use every part of the plant, and especially the leaves and the you know, we're talking about a crop that is, you can't get high on it, but the bit that makes the plant, we have to burn, we have to discard on the farm. It can't leave the farm. In fact, if you're found to be in violation of that, you lose your license. And that happened to another farm in the UK who run it as a non-profit, and they had to burn over 3 million pounds worth of crop. I think it was one figure, but you know, it's probably less than that, but I don't have a reliable figure. Point is, they lost an entire year's worth of proceeds, of revenue, of livelihood. So that's a bit scary, because I'm trying to get out of my day job, you know, sustain my family, and also want to grow my own stuff, and not my own weed, but I want to grow my own food, and maybe reduce the amount of stuff I buy, and grow more of it, and live sustainably, live off the grid as much as possible, and grow my family. Well, grow my family. You know, the kids are growing. I'm not necessarily looking at having any more children at the moment, although who knows. The point is, I want to move from this normal kind of environment where I'm at the moment, working from home, and working in IT, and just looking at my garden, occasionally getting my hands dirty and wondering, what if I did actually do this crazy thing and start my own farming business and suck up all the carbon? Well, here I am, and I'm doing it. I've put some money aside, which I don't actually have, so I have to borrow the money. It's going to cost me money to buy that stuff. It's not much money. It's like 15-20 grand at a stretch that I can probably borrow. It's gonna, if I do that on top of the you know, all the other payments that I have, and I'm, you know, full disclosure, I'm kind of paying for 2 households at the moment while going through that life event of kind of having the kids half the time and having 2 households. Long story short, it's a lot of money that's going out of my account, and not enough maybe coming into the account. So if I add that on top of what I'm already spending at the moment, I'm looking to spend pretty much above the level that I can actually sustain cash flow wise. I can just about manage it, but it's pretty much you know, right on the cusp. So there isn't a lot of tolerance to mess this up. Hence why I still have my day job. I still have my IT consultancy. If you're looking for hosting, check me out. If you're looking for help with your digital things, check me out. And I'm trying to combine this. So I'm thinking, if I can spend half the week on the farm getting that business up and running, I can do my day job and my side hustle to kind of pay for the money I need to borrow to get that up and running. And once I've got that up and running, I can then, you know, quit my job and stop renting this place and live in my own building on the farm. So that's the dream. I don't want to make these vlogs longer than they need to be, and I've given myself an imaginary limit of 10 minutes, and it's coming close to that. So I'm saying, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening to me yap on about my dream. But do subscribe, give us a like or a dislike. If you're thinking I'm full of horse manure, let me know. All engagement matters. Please share with your friends if you know anybody who is into sustainable agriculture or carbon farming even. Yeah, get in touch. I'd love to hear from you, and thanks. Stay safe.